exact condition of Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat unknown, but one thing is fairly certain: his health has severely deteriorated and the prognosis is not good. The Palestinian envoy to Paris says Arafat is in a coma. And with Arafat in bad shape, there is a power vacuum among Palestinians, which is why the Prime Minister, Ahmed Correa, is now empowered to deal with urgent matters. Well, we're talking about this morning with Ghaleb Darabya, Counselor for Political and Congressional Affairs with the Palestinian Mission to the U.S., and also with Ambassador Alon Pinkas, former Israeli Consul General and Fox News Foreign Affairs Analyst. Good morning to you both. And Mr. Darabya, to you first, what is the latest that you're hearing about Arafat's condition?
Good morning, first of all, and thank you for having me. I think what I can really confirm to you is that the president of the Palestinian people is suffering from what we call a blood disorder, that doctors until now did not really determine what are the real causes of that. So I really would like to wait until the doctors actually, who know his case so very well, to come up with a statement to define what is actually his status.
All right, Mr. Pinkas, Ambassador, I'll give you the same question. Are you hearing anything different that you'd want to share with our audience?
Well, there were rumors in the last 48 hours that Mr. Arafat was clinically dead and that he's being kept alive on some kind of a life support system, and that his coma is irreversible. A, I'm not a doctor. B, I'm not present in the hospital, and I agree with Mr. Darabya that this should be ascertained and certified by medical people, not by us. That being said, politically, he is clinically dead.
All right, well, let's go on then. And the question then, Mr. Darabya, for you is well, first of all, what would you expect the reaction to be among the Palestinian people?
But let me just make sure of one point and make it clear once and for all, is that President Arafat is not clinically dead, and he is not brain dead, as they say in medical terms. Gladly, he woke up this morning, he spoke to his chief of staff, and he looked at his doctors, and we are really hoping that his conditions will improve, and we are all praying for him to recover soon.
Fair enough, Mr. Darabya. Let me ask you then, who would be his most likely successor if he were to die?
There is a law, a constitution, or what we call in our terms a primary law that really governs the relationship between the different Palestinian entities. And for now, I think according to the basic law, the head of the Palestinian Legislative Council will be in charge of all the bodies for 60 days until an election is to be held. However, and as long as Arafat is alive, I think Abu Ala will be in charge of the Palestinian Authority in bodies, and Abu Mazen will be in charge of the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization bodies, and executive committee.
If there is to be a new leadership, if Arafat dies, if there is to be a new leadership, Ambassador Pinkas, do you see any of the figures emerging as being capable of being true partners in peace with the Israelis?
Well, that obviously, Bridget, is the key question. What we need to look for in the upcoming days and weeks is the emergence of a Palestinian collective leadership. And no one individual can muster the legitimacy and the authority and has the political base to lead the Palestinians, which is why we're looking at, hopefully not, but we may be looking at a period of instability and anarchy in which the Hamas and the Islamic Jihad and the other fundamentalist terrorist organizations try to get into power, or at least use the void. That being said, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the Palestinians first, for us second, and for the entire world, to come up with a real, pragmatic, serious leadership that would get rid of the Arafat narrative, that would get rid of the exorbitant symbolism that more or less represented or reflected his tenure. He brought nothing but misery and tragedy to the Palestinians.
Let me get Mr. Darabya's take on what you just said, Ambassador, that there could perhaps be a dangerous power vacuum. What do you think about that, Mr. Darabya?
Absolutely not. I mean, the Palestinian Authority did really show in the past couple of days and 3 days a miracle. I mean, everything is running like normal. the Palestinian Authority is functioning. But let me just add one thing. Here, we are going through a very crucial time, and I think it is time for the Israeli to understand that the Palestinians are ready to make a peace with Israel and to accept Israel. But this is a crucial moment in the history of the Palestinian people. They should not interfere in our internal affairs. They should not make this false report about our president. I think they should just sit and watch and let the Palestinians deal with their issues.
We are going to have to wrap it up here. Ghaleb Darabya, thank you very much, and Ambassador Pincus, thank you both very much.
Thank you.